The Sorrowful Mysteries. The first sorrowful mystery, the Agony in the Garden. Jesus is left by himself to contemplate this final event in his life on earth as a human being. As man, he sweats blood because he knows the very depth of fear and sadness, grief, demoralization. He knows that as man, he is moving into a final episode which will prove to him that he has to face everything that is negative. As man, this is a terrifying contemplation. As God, he realizes that this final episode is all about his belief in his own integrity as God. This mystery is so deep because Jesus experiences this agony both as man and as God. His decision rests upon his belief in his own desire to love. He believes with all of himself as God and as man that love is reality, and he wishes to prove finally that this reality is the only meaning of life. His agony is so deep because he knows that as man he will have to face the ultimate fear of annihilation of himself, because he knows that if he takes upon himself this massive task of giving his life out of love to the world, he knows that God will have to let him understand that love, goodness, truth, beauty, everything that is positive is able to overcome evil, death, destruction, everything that is negative. And Jesus sweats blood. The second sorrowful mystery, the scourging at the pillar. Jesus goes into this final event with his will united with his Father. His desire to love is so strong that he is prepared to let himself, as God and as man, face evil in full force. The scourging of Jesus tears at his body, tears at his mind, tears at his soul, and mocks everything that he believes in, mocks everything that is good and beautiful and true, and attacks his physical self in a way that is degrading, demoralizing, and very acute in its sense of evil. Jesus lets this happen silently, with this deep desire to offer everything in love, everything out of love, everything of love in himself to his Father. The third sorrowful mystery, the crowning with thorns. Mockery continues in its whole way of trying to deny dignity. Jesus is clothed in a scarlet robe, the crown of thorns placed on his head and pushed into his skull deeply, violently, with hatred, with scorn, with every attempt to belittle all that he stood for. All that he stood for was love. Love called out in silence. Love acclaimed itself as reality, because Jesus, as God and as man, let himself stand the test of this degradation to prove that he believed that love would finally conquer. The fourth sorrowful mystery, the carrying of the cross. Jesus moves on his way to Calvary. Mary waits for him and sees the depth of his suffering, shares the depth of his suffering, knows that their united suffering is so deep that it will mount to a peak of suffering that is superlative, because each of them desires to show God that what they are doing is out of love, for love, to show that love will conquer. Love is reality. Love is the power. With their act of love, with their act of faith, with their act of hope, they show God that they believe with all of themselves that love is the whole meaning of existence, and love is so powerful that anything that tries to destroy it will never succeed. Jesus and Mary, on their way to Calvary, place all of their trust in God the Father and believe with all of their heart that love will reign supreme. The fifth sorrowful mystery, the Crucifixion. Jesus hangs on the cross. Jesus as God, Jesus as man. Mary kneels at the foot of the cross, his mother. Her grief is so deep because she, with all of her love, recognizes in this moment the whole meaning of this sacrifice. She alone understands what her son is doing. She alone enters into this moment with him in perfect union, a perfect union of love, which offers God the Father a whole understanding of their belief in love. They believe with everything of themselves that love is the only meaning. And Jesus shows with his final act that he wishes to prove that he can unite his love with his Father, and this love will become such a tremendous power that finally he will be able to return to the world, to prove to the world that love can save it from every degradation, every every mockery, every denial, every abuse, every negative attack on love that is happening as the world slides into a dreadful, destructive, demoralized misunderstanding of everything that it should be. In his final act of self-denial, Jesus let himself as God and as man understand that he believed with everything of himself that love is the answer to everything that is not of God, because love will show very clearly that it has the power to destroy death, to destroy everything that is negative, everything that is not of love. Jesus' final act showed clearly that he wished to prove that life on earth could finally restore itself to everything that life means. And he died so that his life could enter into a new understanding of life, which he would finally bring into the world.